All right, we are back. Let's try this again. Ben Lindsay here from Backstage. We're sitting with Doug Jones today. I'm going to give it another minute or two for the audience to come in. Sorry for the delay there. And now it looks like I'm able to invite people to join. So hopefully that was a one-time bug and we can get actor Doug Jones in here. There we go.
Hi.
Sorry about that.
Oh, sorry. No, I'm sorry. I don't know if that was on my side or not.
Yeah, but it's just the way of the world right now. We're all connected on Instagram and whatnot. So no worries there. Thanks for joining me today.
Well, thank you for having me.
Of course. I'm Ben from Backstage. We've never met before, so it's nice to meet you.
You too. Good to meet you too, Ben. Thanks.
Thanks everyone who's watching right now for joining us. I feel like it's about this time of year that I'm used to seeing you at New York Comic Con for the last couple of years at least. So it's been pretty strange to be holed up during this season where we should be celebrating together this new season of Star Trek Discovery.
I know. The conventions all went away this year.
Yeah.
That stupid virus.
Right. How have you been holding up though? You doing all right?
Yeah, I've been doing great. Thank you. In fact, the introvert in me has enjoyed some quiet time more than I ever thought I would. Yeah.
There you go.
But Star Trek Discovery, we finished season 3 filming but like 10 days before the pandemic set in. So that was really good timing for selfishly. So we were on hiatus anyway.
Was there any production or anything you had to work on these last few months, or have you been able to take a break since then?
We kind of had to take a break. I finally did a movie called The Knocking, a dark thriller, and I'm the one doing the knocking. So that's finished now. But it was all done. That was my first time back on set with all of the COVID protocols in place. And it's like production is a big COVID dance with some filming thrown in. That's what it feels like.
Yeah, what was that experience like being back for the first time?
Oh well, I mean, it was great. I was happy to be doing anything, but and once the cameras roll, you're still doing your thing. So you have to kind of be masked on your way to and from set, and lunch is different. There's no more catering. It's all come. Here's your box. Go somewhere by yourself and eat it.
Well, I'm happy to see that you've been taking care of yourself and that you're back at work and you have a great new season of Star Trek Discovery out here promoting that hits CBS All Access tomorrow. It's been awesome to see you with this character Saru for several years now. What's been the most validating thing, the most exciting thing about bringing him to the screen year after year?
Well, I think being a part of the Star Trek family now, I've been acting for almost 35 years now, and I've been in the sci-fi genre, horror, fantasy, comic book genre. That all those fandoms bring such excitement and such loyalty with them. The Star Trek fans are a cut above all that.
Sure.
They feel a sense of ownership of the franchise that no other fandom does, and I love that. It keeps us on our toes. Coming into this franchise, I wanted to get everything right. Mm-hmm. It's like I owe it to these people who have devoted their lives to this fandom, and so being able to create a new species of alien too. I'm a Kelpian, which has never been seen anywhere in any other of the other series or movies before. That was kind of another heavy responsibility. Like I want to make this another species that will carry on in the legacy that is Star Trek. Hopefully.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's been a great job so far. I can't wait to see what's in store for the third season. You do mention that you've had a breadth of experience in sci-fi, in horror. Have you always been a fan of kind of genre work when it comes to film and TV, or is that just kind of where your acting and performance career led you?
It's just kind of where my acting performance career led me. Now, being a tall, skinny, goofy guy, with expressive limbs and a mime background, I started, and I was also a contortionist. My legs can go behind my head, and for some reason that became in handy for the kind of career that I ended up having. So when my dimensions being so having a small face with bony, and I'm easy to build on without getting too bulky, and so creature effects the people who make the designs and the monsters and creatures that go on to me, they're the ones who really catapulted my career forward. Once they found me and built a couple things, I mean, worked with me on set. A couple things come into play. Do you wear their designs well? Do you perform well in them? And are you easy enough to get along with? And do you not complain too much? And as actors, we're all known as a bunch of divas who are like, this is hot, get it off me.
Yeah.
And if you're not doing that, it's like exceptional. And they think you're the nicest guy in the world. So that's been my secret.
Just be a nice guy, do the job, wear it
Right.
well. That's what you got to do. Yeah.
Right.
I think it's especially interesting that you have a background in mime as a contortionist. I read that in your early career commercial work, there was one point where you were in a jeans commercial and you had to like fit yourself into a box, and like these special skills really came in handy for kind of carving your own space in the industry in a really unique way, in a way that not all performers can attest to anyway. Was getting in front of the camera and performance, was that always kind of on your radar as a career option? Or I'd love to hear just like how it kind of came about for you in the first place.
Yeah. I grew up a really odd-looking kid in Indiana. So, and I think we all felt like that. No matter where you're from, you always felt like the oddball out. I think a lot of us did. Even the pretty people have their issues, I think. I think I was kind of drawn to the stage and drawn to performing as a way of escaping all the oddities that were me, or actually using those oddities. So, I mean, I was inspired by the goofy people on TV like Gomer Pyle and Gilligan's Island and the Carol Burnett Show and everybody on that. I Love Lucy. All those early sitcoms and variety shows really kind of like, I see goofy people being funny and entertaining me. I'm laughing, therefore I want to do this for someone else one day. That's kind of what was my early thing. So 1985, getting out to Hollywoodland from Indiana was like, here we are. And I moved up there to take a bank job. Square peg, wrong, a square peg, bad round hole. A horrible fit. The bank knew it was a bad fit, so that's why they fired me after 8 months. And they should have. So it was then that this is where you come in. Backstage used to be Drama Log way back in the day.
Yeah.
And in Los Angeles anyway. So Drama Log magazine then was later absorbed by Backstage and became Backstage West. This is before the internet, before you kids and your little clickable things.
Were Glossy magazine or a newspaper at that point?
It was like a tabloid size weekly newspaper thing. And it came out like, it was kind of glossy-ish paper. Backstage took it over and it became more newspapery feeling. And it was a once a week, our chance to look at casting notices and advertisements for photographers and acting classes and coaches and all that was once a week on Thursdays. So I would wait for that magazine to come out and then like grab it and then like go rifle through it and submit myself for all the student films and short films and extra work, anything I could. And that's where I found the advertisements for TV commercial acting workshops. I thought I wanted to, that's part of the world I was advised, TV commercials might be where an unknown face can find its place. So I thought, well, I don't know. I had a bachelor's degree in theater and radio and TV broadcasting. Right. I didn't have TV commercial acting experience, not so much. So I thought I better take a workshop. So I went through my Drama Log magazine, Backstage now, and we looked at all the ads for that, and I called a bunch of them and said, can you let me come audit one for free? 5 of them said, yes, we'll do that for you. So I went to look at 5 different classes for free. I went back to the one that really sang to me with an instructor that I kind of got. And that instructor was a man named Philip Carr. God rest his soul. He passed away many years ago now. But he's the one who saw all the oddity and goofiness in me and thought like, oh my gosh, he's the one who saw a gold mine in that. And I didn't even see a gold mine in that. I was just trying to find my way. After my second class, I went back and started taking his class forever. Then it was called the LA Commercial Workshop. I don't even know if they're existing anymore. Okay. And he, after my second class, he said, do you have an agent yet? And I said, I don't even know what an agent is. So he handed me his card He said, I'm one. Call me at the office. Well, he was the vice president of the Wilhelmina Agency in Los Angeles, which is a big modeling name in New York.
Yeah.
And they were in the top 10 TV commercial departments in Los Angeles. So I was like, I didn't even have headshots taken yet, and now I've got my first agent. And so that's why I hinted earlier today in my Instagram story that like it's because of you people that I got my first agent, and that's why.
Well, I love that this is kind of a full circle moment then. That's crazy.
Well, it is. And and having read that magazine religiously every week, all the interviews you did with actors in there, you look at those interviews and you think, one day I want to have a career that's worthy of being interviewed by Dramalog/Backstage. And here we are today. So I want you to know this is like going to the Oscars for me today.
Oh,
thank you.
Great. Well, we'll have to do it in person sometime. This digital format is not, it doesn't do the experience justice, but
no, right. I would agree.
Yeah. Well, it's such a pleasure to sit with you and to hear that story. I had no idea.
Yeah.
So after doing that commercial work, and you obviously kind of found your niche with prosthetics and with heavy makeup and doing non-human creatures on camera, I feel like Saru in particular allows for an emotional flexibility because he's a speaking role, because he is anthropomorphic in a different way than, say, the Pan's Labyrinth character. Or, I mean, Shape of Water definitely had emotionality to it, even though it was non-speaking. For what I'm getting to is for the non-speaking roles, how do you navigate a performance like that and imbue it with such emotion? Because you're so good at it.
Oh, thank you for that, by the way. I think that we as actors, we just have to remember that dialogue comes in many forms. It's not just verbal. Visual dialogue is absolutely a part of our communication, and we do it as people every day. Facial expression, gestures, a tilt of the head can say volumes in the right setting with the right text context. So I just use all that when I'm doing a non-verbal dialogue sort of character. Like let's take the fish man from The Shape of Water. There was a love story that had to happen with not one word spoken.
Right.
And I think the audience finally bought it because Sally Hawkins and her character didn't speak either. She was a mute. So we had to have a very connected nonverbal communication and understanding of each other. And so we did. But the blessing of a character like Saru from Star Trek Discovery is that the writers have given me such flowery language. He's a talker, and he's very very vocabularied and very eloquent with his speech, and very articulate, unlike me. So I love that the writers have blessed me with a different personality that I can crawl into every week.
Well, that's the joy of acting, right?
Yeah, totally, yeah.
Now, with a character like Saru, then, do you feel like you're flexing different muscles as a performer than what you've?
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, right, because not only am I taking on memorizing dialogue is a huge thing for me. Like it's a huge fear of mine that I just had to get over, especially when it comes in paragraphs and sprinkled with science fiction talk. It's like, right. There's words I have to look up every week, right? So also then not only that, all of that verbiage that I want to be precise and correct with, but then also I'm playing a species that isn't human. And my biggest challenge with every character I've played over the last 35 years is, how do I make this one different from the last one that I played? And I have done many aliens over the years. I was also a series regular alien on a show called Falling Skies on the TNT network for 3 seasons. And so, how do I make this one different? And the minute they put me in my costume for the first time, it included those hoof boots. I walk around on a high heel sort of thing without a heel behind me, because I'm sort of like a hoofed a creature, like a gazelle galloping through the woods.
Right.
So the first time I put those boots on, it's like, oh, here's a balancing act. But what that did is
right. Honestly, you're not tall enough. You need some.
Exactly. No, right. Those boots make me 6'8".
Wow.
So, yeah. All right. So when I put them on, it kind of pushed my pelvis a little bit forward to keep my balance, and that let my arms kind of dangle slightly behind me. So when I started taking my first test walk around the costume area, my arms started swaying this way behind me kind of naturally. And I'm like, I love this walk. And no one ever told me not to do it, so it stuck.
There we go. There we go. Because yeah, there is such a physicality to everything that you do as well. Do you have a ritual at all in terms of like getting into your body as a performer? Obviously, you're spending hours in the makeup chair and doing everything that you need to do to get ready. So how do you kind of ground yourself when it comes to the actual performance?
Right. Well, first of all, I think as actors, no matter whether we're playing creatures or a guy in a t-shirt and jeans, we have to take on that character from head to toe.
Mm-hmm.
All, you know, every person or creature that you play will have a different personality, a different way of holding themselves, a different way of a different posture, different energy. All those things you need to find for every character you play. And so for me, it starts with a script for me. Like what's the writer's intention? How do I fit in to the story with the other characters? All that. Then a meeting with the director. I want the notes and nuances that you want to see out of this. Great, got that. Then I go to, I used to go to my 24-hour fitness when it was open.
Yeah.
With their big dance floor area, big mirrors, and I would just, at 2 a.m, I'd be in there walking back and forth to try to find this character's walk, this character's home stance, this character's squatting, lunging, whatever the script calls for. By the way, that's quite a show for the people out in the weight room, by the way. We're looking through the glass going,
Yeah.
what's he doing in there?
Yeah.
Right. It's I put on quite a show, but that's where I kind of find what looks right to me.
Yeah.
Then you go into the makeup process, right? You go through all your test fittings and screen tests and camera tests, and then things are getting glued onto you. And now it's like, you know, so if I practice something with my arms doing this up here, but the costume only lets me do this, I kind of have to change what I came up with in that dance studio, right? So it's a multi-step process to get to the final product. But my goal is to, once the cameras are rolling on me, I want to look like a creature who woke up that way that day, not like a guy in a suit.
Yes, of course. Yeah. Well,
that's my challenge.
Board, I should say. Just as a final question for you, again, you know, Backstage, we're about those early career folks. What's one piece of advice that you would give your younger self when you were first getting your start? What's something you've learned along the way?
Right. Oh gosh. Yeah, the advice question is always the hardest one, because I would love to have a pearl of wisdom to, like, here's the answers to all your issues. No. And I don't think anybody has that. I think the biggest thing I would go back and tell younger me is, do not compare your career and your path to anyone else's. Mm-hmm. Every actor that I have known and talked to and worked with over all these years has had a different story to tell, a different climb to their success. Different paths, different ways. So keep all options open. Say yes more than no during the beginning. If a job is coming to you and that it's for credit and meals, we've all done those. And if it gets your face on camera, if it gets your reel built, if it gets relationships building with directors, producers, writers, they'll grow with you, and they'll come back for you if they have a happy memory of working with you. Yeah.
I think those are all great pearls of wisdom to leave our audience with today. Doug, this was such a pleasure, and I would love to speak with you again sometime.
Let's do this again, can we?
Yes, certainly. Congrats on the new season of Star Trek, and stay well.
Yes. So tune in tomorrow night, everybody. CBS All Access. We'll be Star Trekking into the future.
There we go. Can't wait. All right. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
You too. Bye-bye.